What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld, and it's been a long time coming. We've been actually in the lab going crazy trying to figure out, is the GMIASTREAK going to be in Madden 21? And at the launch, I kind of figured that it would be there, but obviously it's going to be different things that's going to be needed to, take care of that to make you get those animations. Now, we're going to go over a couple things. I'm going to share with you guys what we actually discovered live on stream. If you guys follow me on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at GmiasWorld, you'll know when I go live, and you'll be able to be part of the actual live stream when it's actually going on. So in this video right here, it's going to be like a tale of two halves, because I actually figured out what you have to do and how it's different from Madden 20. So there was a lot of different processes going on in this video. It was look, I was very fortunate because this is the MVP edition, and this guy is a terrible Madden player, right? So he is a guy that we can use as a test dummy, because you have to get into a game, you have to get into head-to-head matchups to see what works, right? And after you figure that out, it's easier for you guys to figure out what you're gonna do after that. As far as defenses, whatever offense you want to run, whatever it is that you're trying to do, all you need to do is make sure, pick that. All you have to do is make sure that everything that you're trying to do works in the competitive mode, in the head-to-head gameplay modes in MUT. That's it. You can lab it, like right here. He's gonna pick that because Jermichael Finley is very, very slow. So I threw the ball wrong. Anybody else that has any speed is gonna take that for 6, right? So because we're practicing the actual streaks, we're not trying to beat them deep. We're trying to moss them. So the mossing action, obviously it requires taller players. So let's go over that real quick. Jermichael Finley, 6'5", all right, 83 speed, very, very lackluster. You have Drew Bennett, 6'5", he's about 87 speed. That's a little bit better because he'll have a much better step. Regardless of who the corner is, 87 speed, you're probably gonna burn him deep if he press and you beat the press, all right? But when guys are that slow like Jermichael Finley, he is typically for a different type of throw. So because there's so many different variations of, the way that the ball is thrown, you have to be smarter about it. A lot of you guys that discovered the streak from watching my channel in 20 and started to do it, you were able to pick up on, certain things that I was doing. Obviously, like you see the way he beat off that press. Drew Bennett got right off the press, right? And then I lobbed the ball like an idiot instead of bullet passing it, so he was able to get over there because, again, I'm trying to see the different type of throwing animations, which way it works, lobbing, high pass, streak, all the things that you need to figure out. That's what I'm doing right now. So that's why I had to share this with you, because I'm like, look, win or lose, this is what I do. I go out there and I throw a million picks, and then I figure out the button coordination to be able to moss dudes. Because what happens is EA made it a lot more difficult, believe it or not, to moss dudes, one-on-one. They gave the advantage to the defense. So what you may notice is that the animation starts right when you throw the ball for the guy to intercept it. It's a very, very ridiculous thing that EA Sports has done. But again, that's, for whatever reason, somebody thinks that it's cool for you to have predetermined animations all the time in the game. And it's absolutely ridiculous, but that's what the game is. It's a part of the game. So your objective, right, when you throw a streak, is to make sure that the animation doesn't trigger. All right? So pretty much what happens is, if you throw the ball and you see the defender is already in an animation to where he's trying to pick the ball off, you're not throwing the streak correctly. It still has to be free form. It has to be so that you can be able to maneuver and get yourself in the right position and catch it. Just keep that in your mind. Once you throw the ball, depending on how the defense reacts, that says it all. Because this year, like I said, there are going to be a lot of patches and a lot of tuning updates, and they're probably going to make it a lot easier for you guys to be able to moss dudes later on. Right now, it's at its highest peak of being difficult, especially if you throw it like the way I throw it, right? Now, that really wasn't, that wasn't anything major. That was just, a regular streak thrown. It wasn't a moss action. We're going to get the moss action off by the end of the video, but what I'm trying to do is just understand the concept behind it. Now, another thing is this, right? In Madden 20, it was a hype factor, right? It was very, very huge. Like when I discovered it, it was with Mike Evans, and I was running the West Coast offense, and I was doing like near close flex and stuff like that. Then I realized you can moss dudes in double and triple coverage. With this game, it's similar. Like you want to look for somebody that's 6'5" and gets what's called the deep out elite. The deep in doesn't give it to you because it's inside the numbers, and usually when you line up, it's outside the numbers. So the deep out elite is probably going to be the closest thing to streak specialist. And then you're going to want to throw the ball at least 25 yards or more in order to be able to catch it, right? So those are the basic things that you're going to need to go out there and do it. If the player does not get deep out elite, you will not trigger jump animations. So what will happen is your guy will just be standing around and EA Sports will be laughing while it's going on. That's pretty much what would happen, right? So that's the deep out elite that you're going to be looking for as far as the abilities. After you do that, you should be able to start to get the animations of certain jumps and things of that nature. Once that happens, everything else is on you. And remember, this is something that I do, and the reason that I even initiated doing this in 20 was because people come out in standard coverages, stock coverages, cover 3, cover 1, and they just sit in it the whole game and laugh at you. Now, when it's one-on-one on the outsides, you will have an option. Not only that, incorporate the running game as well. Make them not know what's going on. Like, don't just come out trying to throw a streak every play. See, that's the thing about me. Once I master it, it doesn't matter if it's double team, triple team, whatever's going on, all kinds of teams with the team. I don't care what you're doing. That's the objective. You got to be able to throw it no matter what. Now, you can see both sides, they were both open right there, right? And you see like how I threw the ball differently, and he was able to go out there. That's Finley with an 83 speed. Now, here we go right here. We're going to moss him, right? So that's the actual moss animation from Madden 20. So that's when I actually figured it out, okay? Because the whole process of it was I had to figure, which one of these players gets something that's similar to streak specialists. They're at least 6'5", and they can jump. So now, that's another question that some of you guys were asking. Do these players have to have a high jump rating in order to moss dudes? No, they don't. All they need to be able to do is get that ability, which is the deep out elite. Okay, now you can see, like, based on the throw that I made, if you look on the field, what EA did was streak specialist was so OP, it didn't matter where on the field you were throwing it. So if you notice in a lot of my Madden 20 videos, I would moss dudes in the middle of the field, outside of the field, at their mom's house. It didn't matter where they were, I was mossing them, right? So EA is like, all right, we're not going to make it so that one universal ability makes you be able to get the jump animation. So you have to decide, where do you want to moss dudes the most? Inside the numbers or outside the numbers, all right? So if you're more of an inside slot guy, like a lot of guys was mossing dudes in like tight formations, you're gonna have to go with deep in elite. But because the way that I play and I run a lot of stretches, if a dude is not playing any D, that's gonna make it so outside the numbers is more suitable for me. But you need to be able to jump. Now, what happens if you figure something out? What was I just doing right there? That was mad disgusting stick, bro. Yeah, that stick work was disgusting. Bro, what was that right there? I must have been trying, bro. I must have been, okay, he's wide open on the left and I throw it to the right. GG's. And then he drops the ball. You're going to have to figure for yourself what makes the most sense. But again, because of the way the field is, it just makes more sense to just have it, outside the, dudes are just getting right off the press. So now you're starting to understand exactly what happens with the different type of, press animations and the way the players get off of the press. Obviously, you don't have to always throw the streak, but you need your player to be fast enough to burn somebody deep. I'm thinking that 86, 87 speed is very, very suitable. I don't know if anything lower is going to really get you, burn dudes, even though you just saw that, Jermichael Finley got an animation where he actually burnt a corner that's way faster than him. I think that's a Dory Jackson that he has. That's like an 89 speed, and he just got him over the top. So these bigger players that are slower can still get them over the top if they press, and that's just the nature of the business. You know what I'm saying? But again, now that I know that it's in the game, now we got to get to work. Now we got to figure out why my user is so trash. Like, what is that right there? But it doesn't really matter. This guy was primed to throw a pick. I told you, he's not a good Madden player, so it was a perfect game to really learn and understand that it is part of what the game is. Very, very huge and exciting for me to be able to see this and bring this guys right to you, bringing it right to you so you guys can now go into the lab and figure it out for yourselves. I gave you guys the abilities, deep out elite, make your players at least 6'5", and you're going to have a good old time when a dude comes out running cover 3 and cover 1. I want to thank you guys and girls for watching. Go ahead and have a great day. Until next time, one love, y'all.